attitude. She's very like.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Friday morning. It's the 4th of April, and we are live. We're here to stick it out with you for 2 hours this morning in the month that is pockmarked with public holidays. Try and say that if you've just woken up, which is pretty much what happened with me this morning. Anyway, we've got Ben and Simpiwe running the show from Johannesburg, and me in my house, which is terrific. I'm looking at my dog who's going like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She hasn't seen this in a long time. All right, how's everybody? Are we in winter mode yet? I see Ben's dressed for winter, Simpiwe's dressed for winter. Is that what's going on, guys?
Well,
Yes.
Joburg's relentless obsession with becoming the world's first industrial area tropical rainforest. It does make for chilly mornings in April.
Wow, you're so right. It's now a tropical rainforest. I mean, last night, I was at this event, which was it started at like 6 in the afternoon, ended at like 9:30. And it was an awards dinner at the Ananda Club, which is beautiful, right? And if
So
you've ever
nice.
been there, you know you've got this magnificent view in the background. I mean, I've been there during the day for polo things, which I mean, these are snooty kind of, rich people events, but it's beautiful. I mean, you get this huge big field with this immaculate grass on it, and directly across from the field where people are standing is that there are hay bales, and they can actually, like, horses can walk there. It's beautiful. And then if you look at the skyline just behind that, you see these buildings, Santon in all of its majesty. And I took a picture of it yesterday and I actually said, Joburg, and people who call Joburg an ugly place, they just don't know which parts of Joburg to go to, because it's really pretty. And even with the rain coming down and the fact that it was a pretty gloomy day, there's something very special about Joburg when it rains. It doesn't feel like, I mean, because a high fault thunderstorm is one thing, right? But when we had the kind of rain that we had yesterday, weather can be very boring to talk about, but it's pretty, it's magical. Feels like you're in a movie sometimes. So even the ugly days are way prettier than some people give it credit for.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like all places in the world. Everywhere's pretty if you got money. And Ananda's great. Like, you can actually physically have a horse there, and then you are like a 5-minute Uber from Santon City. It's
Yeah.
great.
Spot on. Yeah, it's wild. And everything is looking so damn good. And we've got to enjoy this while it lasts, because the green is not something that we're going to be used to in the middle of winter. So, like, enjoy it while it's there. And I got into a conversation because the guys from Swing City, which is Loiso Bala and Graham and Nathan, who've both been guests on the show here, they were all saying, and Loi's not there, but he had a stand-in last night. But they were talking to me about how beautiful the garden is, and I said to them, "Geez, guys, and I've known them both for like 15 years. They go, gee, this is how you could tell you're old. It's because you take more pleasure in the garden." I said to them, 12 years ago, we would have been talking about cars and women and way more exciting things than this. But now we're like, oh, you must see how good my garden looks in the rain. It's true, though.
Well, Gareth, I mean, in fairness, let's put that in perspective. That's because there are no good-looking women in their lives in that age.
I think that's a you problem right there.
No, it's a guys over 40 age problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of beautiful women in South.
No, I'm saying in their lives. I'm not saying in the world.
Yes,
I'm saying
but
in their
even
lives.
they are. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've seen a lot of women who are aging very gracefully, and it's like, well, I think that's the standard now, and so I assume that everybody knows very hot, sexy older ladies.
So look, it exists in this world. I'm just saying that for the general guy out there, once they get into their age, that's not in their sphere anymore. It's just not. Okay, don't feel like I'm attacking women here. Just relax.
This always happens whenever you talk about anything. If you're talking about a category thing with women, they always immediately assume you're talking about them, no matter what it is. Like,
they're so good at that, huh? Wow.
You'd be like, so good. I took a walk yesterday and I noticed that, the sun went down at 6 a.m. I didn't see that. I took it at 6.
Yeah. It was 6:10.
Okay, fine. I get it, guys. Thank you so much.
Honestly, if you sit down, and I've done this with, like I'm saying, girls who I love and admire and respect, who are friends of mine, you'll sit down and you'll say, the study shows that there's some new study out, like we talk about every other day on this show. Apparently, in this study, it says that women prefer popcorn over potato chips, and then invariably there's going to be a girl that goes, I don't, I prefer potato chip. You'd be like, I promise you this wasn't about you until just like 5 seconds ago. But to give some balance to this conversation, both Graham and Nathan Jono are both married, so they have women in their lives, unlike Ben and I. But the gardening thing, it's weird. Like I look at my parents, they
love that.
they just love the garden, right? It gives them such joy. And I think I'm getting like that. I was walking around yesterday and I looked at in the same place that I was at, these perfectly manicured little gardens with hedges and like little flowers in them. And I was like, these are very beautiful. These are very beautiful gardens. I could actually feel myself turning into like an old guy. But I think there's something about being appreciative of beauty around you.
It is.
I've never.
But it is. It's beauty. It's back to my point. You talk about the beauty you have, and when you're younger, that beauty is, let's be honest, it's hot chicks. As you get older, the beauty changes. It evolves. It softens, and yeah, that's a wonderful thing. It's like you would love a 2-seater sports car, but when you have kids, there's something very beautiful about a people carrier because it provides function.
But the sports car is still gorgeous.
I know, but it's not yours
still
anymore.
Sexy.
It's not in your realm anymore, so therefore you don't look at it.
So speaking of beautiful, James, have you got that video that I sent you yesterday? I want somebody to help me. First of all, this is not beautiful. This is the opposite of beautiful. But I want either Simpiwe or Ben to have a go at just translating what the hell this person is saying. All right. And pay no attention to what they look like, because otherwise you'll be completely distracted. So in other words, look only for a minute, because it's going to be a horrible experience to watch this and to actually see this person. But I more importantly want you to try and tell me what they're saying. Okay. This is apparently discernible. This is like street talk. It's 2025 talk. If you know what the hell this guy's on about, or this girl, I don't know what this is. If you know what this person is on about, then you get all the points. So you ready?
Let's go.
I say on my mother finished product done. You feel me? Real drip down stuff. Don't come out and put my lie. I just took they wit, put it back in my head. That's why they bow. But I'm not. I'll quit. I'll tell they stoke, put in my hair. On my mother, cause I'm from Chicago.
First and foremost, I can tell you we are all too old for that, Chad. We need to call Amos in. I promise you. He's the only one who can understand. You know what I'm saying? That is language of I'm a 2000, and nobody in this room right now is I'm a 2000. So please.
What the fuck was that?
Gareth, it's okay. It's not for your generation. I promise you. It's not for you. It's literally, even I, as the youngest person, can tell you now.
Sims,
I'm 30 and it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's a language. I don't think that is discernible as a language to anyone. Like there is going to be a tiny minority of people on planet Earth who are sentient and have linguistic abilities of any kind. There's going to be an absolute minimum of them who will even be able to decipher. That's like hieroglyphics to me.
For you,
not just to me,
Gareth, no, I disagree. I can tell you now, there's an entire generation. They're 18, they're 19. They speak their own language. They're going to be like, what's the cool? What's the coil? Do you know what that means?
No.
Because why? It's not for us. I promise you guys, it's not our language. It's not for us to communicate in. It's a new generation, and we all look at them and we all like, what are you saying? But I promise you, call Amos. He will tell you exactly what that guy said. And he'll be like, oh, I feel him. In fact, I look up to him.
It's easy to make up your own shit language when you got fuck all to say. Like I probably had like 3 points of meaning within that gibberish there. We can also make up our own thing. As humans, you can communicate through like body language. That like probably said something about the fact that his garden's very nice.
All right, seriously, try for me. Just humor me on this. Like, what do you think he was talking about? Wrong answers only.
I don't know. I think he was saying hello, what's up? You guys good? Great, amazing. I don't know. After the first word, I was just spazzing. Didn't know what he said.
I literally think he's got hemorrhoids and he has no idea who to talk to about it because it's an older person disease.
Nope.
And he's the first person that he's ever found out that got hemorrhoids. So he's ashamed. That's why he talks like that.
Another tattoo. Did you see his face full of tattoos?
I think he's ashamed of hemorrhoids.
I think maybe it might be a tattoo chat. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to get another tattoo, doesn't know where to get it. He wants advice. Or maybe he's trying to remove the tattoos. He also was very weird looking. No offense. But he was very weird looking. Like, no. It's a no for me.
Do girls like that fuck though? I mean, let's really be honest. Like, do girls go, oh, you know what? Like, that's the guy.
Does he have money?
That's the one.
If he has money, I promise you, he's living his best life.
I got a short answer for this. No one, and this is now borne out by the research and the statistics, is like people of whatever that creature's age is, are not having sex. They don't want to have sex with each other. No one wants to have sex with them. They're incapable of like any kind of physical interaction because unless there's a screen between them and the person, they actually don't know what to do. I don't think that person even has a dick.
Yeah, no, fair call.
That's a bit harsh.
No, I don't think it's a bit harsh. I think him talking or trying to talk is a bit harsh. So we've enjoyed the harshness of people. We can come back with what we want here. We've paid the bills by listening to that shit.
Do me a favor, James, just for the joy and the utter love and shared humanity and all the good things that could possibly come out. Just play it one more time so everybody.
Come on, guys, really.
Get it? No.
I say, on my finished product done. You feel me? Red drip down, still don't come in island but my life. I just took they wit, put it back in my head. That's why they bow. But I'm not. I'll quit. I'll tell they stoke, put in my head. I'm my mother because I'm from the sky.
Absolutely hemorrhoids. His hemorrhoids look like his hair.
I heard a whip. So that means car. Something about putting it in his hair. I don't know what's good. Like, woo!
Guys, he was saying he looks really nice. He's got some new drip and it matches with his car and his hair is on all this kind of stuff. And, he's ready to go look at a screen with hemorrhoids.
I think you might be on the money there, both of you. But there's just a sadness to it. I really think, again, I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but I can't help thinking of that story from the Tower of Babel. You remember that? Simpiwe, you're a good Christian. You go to church. You know what happened. The Tower of Babel, these people were building a tower to get to heaven so that they could be like God. They wanted to be like God and they wanted to ascend. So they tried to reach the heavens and built this enormous tower, and God punished them. He struck them. Their language was disrupted, and they all spoke gobbledygook that the others couldn't understand. And suddenly you had everybody that was just confounded and unable to in any way decipher what the other person was saying. And that's kind of where I think we are with this guy. I think it's the Tower of Babel all over again.
Although I'm looking forward to getting to the mumble rap section of the Bible now.
Oh no, that's not happening. That's not on God's watch. But I can tell you now that I'm glad that I don't have to be the one who has to try and understand that. I'm glad that I lived in a generation where we actually spoke proper English and we don't have to deal with the drip. No, I'm saying. I feel so old saying that now. But I'm just saying, I'm saying I'm glad that I'm a decent human and the generation after me is
Yes, as we spoke about last week for your 30th, you are a decent human. All coming together. You got all these wonderful attributes.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. All right. So a couple of things I want to talk about this morning. There's so much on everyone's agenda. So I saw that our parliament got together on, was it Thursday or was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Anyway, they got together. It's amazing, right? There are people who will tell you that South Africa is not. The big thing in South Africa is like white people and black people, and then there'll be people who say, no, the thing about South Africa is poor people and rich people, and that's how we're divided, and that's how it's always going to be. Well, let me enter into evidence, Exhibit A, which is what happened in Parliament when they did this budget vote. So they need to approve the budget so that government can spend the money, but also so they can get the money. Okay, and if they don't do that, that's like a first step for a government. It needs to be able to do that. So we got this thing called the GNU, which is the Government National Unity. Inside it's a whole bunch of parties. They love being in government. They get to have ministries. They get to be in charge of the bureaucracy, the executive arm of government. Here's what happened. The GNU broke down because, amazingly, right, the people who because they always tell you, these politicians, no, we won't work with those ones. We won't work with those ones. So what happened was the DA said, actually, we're not big fans of a VAT increase. Remember, a VAT increase, and we've discussed it on the show before, affects everybody. It affects everybody in a very negative way, because even if it's 0.5%, and Ben and Simpiwe will hear me out on this because they've sat in the studio and had this conversation with me about this very thing. Everybody gets hurt because everything gets more expensive, and we're not exactly a country that's booming at the moment. So if you are trying to live on the same amount of money that you earned last year or the year before, and most South Africans are, your money is less valuable. So already, thanks to inflation, everything's costing you more. Now they want to increase taxes because why? Because they've stolen everything. There's nothing left in the trough. So they have to increase taxes on us, just like everybody else passes on VAT increases to us. We are the ones, the suckers, the people at the end who have to pay more. Rich people, poor people, everybody pays more. It's fantastic. It's just wonderful. We all get poorer. And government, if you saw what happened in that vote, after they'd passed it by a majority of, I think, 19 votes, which is like a ball hair in Parliament, right? And it's thanks to Action SA, who thought they were going to stop the VAT increase, but actually had been hoodwinked by the ANC. They're so stupid in Action SA that they were basically rolled over. And they provided just enough votes, along with like Musi Mamane and other people like that, who went along with the government. By 19 votes, they passed this VAT increase, and you saw them dancing. They were dancing. They were singing. These guys were so happy that they're going to steal more tax money from us.
It's absolutely frustrating.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Okay. So I got a couple of things I want to ask on that. So is now the DA still like the evil party to some people? They seem the only ones that want to step up to the plate here for everyday people. But are they still persona non grata because they're white?
Yes. Yes. And you think...
Sorry, just in case anyone's getting this wrong, and this is why I led this conversation by saying South Africa is not this binary place where it's black versus white or rich versus poor. Because guess who the other parties were who didn't vote yes? It was the DA, MK, and the EFF. Now, there's an interesting combination you didn't think was going to happen in your lifetime. Those three parties. Yeah, those are the ones who stood up for us, the voters and the... They're the parties who said, you know what? Actually, I don't think this is right. We're not going to vote with this budget. Everyone else says you should pay more.
But you know what's even more frustrating? Because I did watch a part of that parliamentary meeting that they had, because it's 6 hours long. But I watched that particular snippet, and I think I sent that to James. Is that the Minister of Finance spoke before they voted, and he was basically saying that they don't have any alternatives to VAT increase. How are they supposed to get this money? And this money is going to go to this area, and this area in order to fix the economy. And I think for me, that's just, it was arrogant speaking. I am not an accountant, but I do know there's various ways to collect money. Increasing taxes and VAT is not always the only solution out there. And so this is very lazy thinking, and they don't want to do anything but to actually put in work and put in time to come up with different solutions for a country that desperately needs something else other than a VAT increase. And then for the fact that they rejoice, I was so mad. I was like, yeah, this country, the people in parliament do not care for its people. It's all about them and their pockets, because as we get poorer, they get richer, and that's sad.
But I think it's quite a monumental thing to see who voted for that. So when we say these politicians, we can actually not be so general anymore. It is that cancerous.
I can tell you exactly. I wrote it down because now these people need to go. All of them. I'll tell you now. It was obvious ANC because they don't care for us.
But these are enemies of people, right?
Yes. It was the IFP. It was the PA. It was RISE and Action SA. All of those people voted for the VAT increase and they rejoiced. Hala, 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 hala.
Yeah, correct. So you see, I don't think you're the only one who wrote them down, who actually noted the names, because they actually went parliamentarian by parliamentarian, all 400 of them, I think. And they all had to say which way they voted. And you should have heard some of them, yes, when they were voting for an increase, because, this is great. We can take more, squeeze the blood out of the taxpayers, make them pay the people of South Africa. Yes. They were going around there and they were so excited to say yes. And then that celebration afterwards just made me sick.
Yeah.
No.
Honourable members, the outcome of the division is as follows. There were no abstentions. 182 voted against and 194 voted in favour. Order, honourable members. Order, honourable members.
So there we go. Hope you're watching.
I didn't think I was going to get upset today, but here we are.
Sorry, man. It's very upsetting that people are rejoicing at the fact that we're going to pay more taxes.
Can we go back to Hemorrhoid Guy? Listen to what he's got to say.
Yeah, I would.
I say, my finished product done. You feel me? Really drip down stuff. Don't come in island but my lie. I just took they wit, put it back in my head. That's why they bow. But I'm not. I'll quit after they stoke, put in my hair. I'm a murderer because I'm from Chicago.
Jesus. Wow. All right. So there are people in the comments saying some things that I think we're all thinking. Bitcoin Bot saying, clapping for our demise. There's nothing honorable about those members, says Sianda. I think that's spot on. Dirk Kutsia says, it's like the employees getting to vote if they should get increases or bonuses. There's only going to be one outcome. Well, someone said quite rightly, it's like the, you're letting the wolves decide what's going to happen to the sheep. And they're all thrilled because it's feast time, right? That's what it is. And then a couple other comments that I thought were true too. The ANC need to understand, this is from Patrick, they need to understand they don't own this country. Hence, I say, even if it's temporary, boot them out of government totally. It is possible. Well, listen, I mean, if you've ever thought that your vote doesn't matter, especially when we're building coalition governments and they're going to fall apart or they're going to stick together, it does matter, guys. I'm the first one to say you mustn't let government ruin your day, okay? Because you don't have to have them in your life all the time. But I'm afraid when it comes to, rands and cents in your pocket, this is where they matter. And they can pass changes to the law like this. I know that there are people who are going to, I think the DA is now fighting this in court or whatever. But the courts are slow. It's going to take a long time for them to sort this problem out. In the meantime, we're going to have to, what they say in Afrikaans, kak en betaal. That's what it is. And do you think one minister is going to take a pay cut because they couldn't raise the money?
Never that. Never that. In fact, they're going to give you excuses and try justify why they need an increase in terms of security, why they must get an increase in terms of their bonuses and how much they get paid. Because according to them, they actually get paid peanuts and they do so much for the country. They're going to try justify a whole lot of nonsense because they're going to go out and do all these meetings now, and we're going to spend trillions and billions because they can't decide whether or not they want to go left or right. Yeah, they're just going to. It's actually frustrating that these people, hey man, how they spend money, how they just think that, yeah, for them money grows on trees and we are the trees. So
I think
sad.
I think what's also quite sad, if you look at that massive room there, like a 6,000 rand a month intern and Chat GPT 4 could do pretty much most of that room now.
Yes.
Like cover whatever they're meant to be. Like that's it. We could.
So the one, just to show you how right you are, Ben, the one check, and believe me, I don't normally watch this stuff. I only watch it because I know we're gonna have to talk about it on the show. So the one girl from the PA, she walked in after they'd locked the doors. Now, you know, in Parliament, they have rules and procedures. You wouldn't think it looking at those people. And by the way, it's the most terrible thing to hear them because none of them knows how to use a microphone. Oh, yeah. They all talk. One of them knows how to use a microphone properly. And they pick the thing up and they shout and they scream and point of order or hello, I just had to say that the ANC, whatever it is. It's so bad. But the rule is that once they lock the door, it's a term they use so that they can begin a vote. You may not come in or go out so that they can be sure that all the people who are going to vote are people who are meant to vote, the actual MPs, right? And this one chick from the PA, she came back in after the bell had been rung. So the speaker said to her, you can't sit there. And then there was like a whole 15-minute thing about whether she can or whether she can't, because obviously it was a really close vote, so every vote counted. And this chick was like, no, I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to carry on as if nothing happened. Speaker's like, no, I'm sorry. You got to get out. And to Ben's point, like, you know, a grade 4 kid, these are the rules that you have to follow at school, right? When the bell goes, if you're not in class, you are late.
Yes.
And the teacher will sometimes kick you out of class because you're late. Isn't that like you learned that at primary school? I learned that at primary school. Everybody knows that rule. This girl from PA clearly did not. So she had to get up and leave. But it's all so embarrassing because this isn't a serious business, Parliament. Even if they look like they're a bunch of fucking morons, they're meant to be serious people. And they're meant to be the people we have elected to represent us. Well, as Simpiwe said, like, we're the trees, and they just think money grows on trees, so they're shaking and chopping and breaking the trees instead of realizing that if you look after the trees and you actually do what you're there to do, which is protect them, make sure they've got some sun and some water, and that you give them the best opportunity to flourish, guess what's going to happen? The tree's going to eventually stop growing money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got, it's not a parliament. This is from Congo, Chris. Our parliament is a smoldering husk, which is also true. Because every time they have one of these meetings, I'm like, you guys are like the pretend theater kid version of members of parliament, because you're not even in parliament. Someone burnt that place down and it's still not fixed.
Imagine.
They're
They
meeting in a
so
tent.
Embarrassed. Like
they're meeting in a marquee like you would use for a funeral.
These people.
It's so embarrassing. Just embarrassing. All right, so let's move on to much more happy things because it is Friday and the weekend is here and there's all kinds of exciting stuff happening. So I do want to get this mention in quickly because it's something that I've put on social media already. But I'm going to a little fundraiser, and it's also just a little bit of a trip down memory lane, a bit of nostalgia, which is always fun. There are going to be all kinds of faces and voices that you know from the past there as well. And I thought it might be fun to let you know on the show here this morning. We're doing a party for Darren Scott, who was a guest on this show not so long ago, actually, just a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. And Darren's been very ill. He's got all sorts of health complications. none of which anyone would want. And we're just doing a little fundraiser stroke party of support to show him a little bit of moral support too, because he's going through a bit of a shitty time. And it gives us an excuse to get together. I saw DJ Fresh last weekend, and he'll be there again on Saturday. It's at that Prison Break Market in Lone Hill, which is
nice.
very cool. It's on that main Lone Hill Road, and there'll be all kinds of people there that you haven't seen for a long time. I'm just looking at the poster now. It's like you got me, you got Fresh. Leanne Mole will be popping by too, because she's definitely for a long time. She was on his show before she was on mine, which is cool. Who else is going to be there? We've got F and Martinengo, Sasha and Ian. We've also got Kurt Darren popping in, Tony Blewett, Barney Simon, Alex J. It's going to be this is like an OGs meeting from radio and even some people from TV who worked with Darren. Nas Buerta may make an appearance. Who knows? Could be quite exciting because that.
Yeah.
If Nas is going to be there, I'm in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's where the saying, but on the other hand, Darren comes from. It's from Darren and Nas talking on Bootsable those years ago. So any rugby fan would know where that comes from. So that's from 4 p.m. onwards on the Saturday the 5th, which is tomorrow. So come along if you're keen. And there are tickets available on Quicket, apparently. So if you follow my social media, if you're on X or on Instagram, you'll have got those links. Take a look there, and we'll see you on Saturday. Should be fun. It's all for a good cause too. That's my weekend plan. I don't have any others, so it's going to be nice and relaxed. And if the weather is rainy and cloudy and miserable, then the best thing to do is to sit at home, right? Grab a blanket. It's getting colder. Yes. Sit there, watch some series. Oh, I finished White Lotus 3, by the way.
I'm almost there.
The latest. Yeah, the latest episode. I think there's still one to come because I haven't solved any murders or any of the crap they started in the first episode.
There's murders,
but
don't ruin it for Ben.
But remember how it starts. And again, I'm not going to spoiler anything here. The first episode, there are gunshots and nobody knows what's going on, and you don't know who's got the gun. You don't know who's got the bullets. Who knows what's going on? There are a couple of guns that have made their way around too in the course of the show. It's on, from my point of view, on episode 7. So episode 8 still has to come out.
I'm on episode 5. Look, it's a bit.
Have you seen any?
It's a bit of a cinematographic circle jerk until you get to the end. These things are crescendoing into a way. But they've got a good formula. It's a very good show.
Oh. Well, I think this guy, White, who he's the director and producer, and he's the writer of this thing as well. Very, very clever guy, obviously, understands how to make a good story. And the characters are very good. I mean, I liked the first White Lotus because it was completely new. And it's like a short form whodunit, like an Agatha Christie almost. But it's rich people in a resort. So it's very beautiful. They've got beautiful establishing shots of these gorgeous beaches. And the first one was in Maui, I think, and the second one was in Italy. The second one I never really got into, so I think I gave up on it halfway. But this one I'm into, and I think it's great. It's the casting is just awesome. They've got some really good actors who play the parts so well. There's this grumpy dude who he's got this girlfriend who's a bit toothy, but he's such a miserable son of a bitch, and he just wants to avenge his dad who was killed. And there's his mom who keeps popping pills to calm her down, but she's basically in a daze the whole time. Then her husband, the dad, ends up basically he takes over her pill habit and he steals her pills, and then she just starts drinking. I mean, it's the most incredible microcosm of what so many of these rich families, they have real problems. I mean, everybody goes, oh no, it's only poor people who have problems. These rich people have such fucking problems. They're all so screwed up, all of them. And then, there are these 3 chicks who are together. The one girl's some famous TV star. There's so many things in it that just made me think, wow, this guy kind of gets where culture's at the moment too. Because those 3 girls who are girlfriends, they start off and they all love each other and they keep saying things like, oh my God, I love you so much. It's so great to be on holiday with you. Vacation. Yeah, and they all they say, you've seen this, Simpiwe, when girls are actually deep down inside, they're jealous of each other. They're comparing who looks the best. They're comparing who's got the best husband, who's got the best life, who's got the most money, who's wearing the nicest dress. But they never talk about it. They pretend they just love it. Oh my God, you're looking so amazing. That kind of shit. And it slowly unravels with these three girls until they get to a point where they're actually starting to be honest with each other. And then the claws come out, man. Wow.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the old saying that women will say the nicest things to each other's faces and the most horrible thing behind their backs, whereas guys will say the most horrible things to each other's faces, but behind our backs, we always say good things.
But are you enjoying the show? Because I think it's pretty good, Ben.
Gareth, I haven't watched a TV show in probably 3-4 years. Because I'm just a nerd. I watch YouTube and golf. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a bit slow, but I'm forcing myself into do it just so I know what other people's problems are in life, because I live in an absolute bubble. So this way I get to watch things and go, oh.
You want to be able to relate with the masses,
I want to be a person of the people, Simpiwe. I couldn't even say that sentence, but here I am. I'm going to do that. Look, we mentioned it last week on the show. It's like, it's funny because it highlights the things that make people really upset about themselves. Like that scene when when those trouts go to that other hotel and because they're looking for a bit of a jaw, but they realize it's an old person's hotel, and they're like, "Oh hell no, we're still young." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went partying with Russians,
which is everybody's idea of a fun time, right? Did you know that the rich son is Arnold Schwarzenegger's real life son? Yeah.
Yes.
So that's Traveling Ninja Turtle in the comments bringing that up. That's Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Oh. But going to what you guys were talking about with the ladies, it's actually called backhanded compliments.
Yes.
Yes, and they start off very mild in terms of, oh, hey, you look pretty, you're so nice, and has a bit of a high pitch. And then it gets worse as they spend more time together, where they're like, if I'm in a room with somebody that I don't like, I'll be like, oh, that's a great dress for someone with your body.
Yes.
And it's a very backhand.
I didn't expect that color to work on you.
Yes, like I wouldn't wear that, but
you doing well.
Yeah, you make that look fabulous. And they say things like that where it's not they're not insulting you outright, but it's not a compliment as well. And they say that enough times for you to start picking up, and then that's when you start seeing women really and then fight.
So Simpiwe, are you saying that women should be more women on corporate boards then? This is the behavior that they sort of default to.
I think so. Personally, I think so. But I also think it's one of those things where if you have someone who's a bit confrontational, someone who says something like that, after they say that first backhanded compliment, she's gonna confront you and be like, "Excuse me, what are you about? What's this?" And that's how you then get like, "Oh, girls don't like each other." It's like, no, you're being very rude.
Well,
and I'm calling.
I mean, you do. So I'm not in any way saying that all friendships with women are like those three girls, because I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
But these three are a pretty useful example of what does happen in there, because there are three of them. What happens is as soon as the one gets up to go and get a drink or she goes to the loo or whatever, the other two gossip about her. Then she sits down and one of the other girls get up, and then the other two, the one who was all the whole time and the other one who went to the bathroom, now they start gossiping about the other one who's gone. And so it moves like around the circle like this. And what you find out is that this one says, my God, she chose her career over having a family. And that's why she's so unhappy. Then the other one's like, well, you chose fame over settling down and having a husband. And then the third one is, well, you chose your family, so you don't have success. It's wild to me because they do zero in, even though it's fiction, they zero in on what often happens. And I've seen this happen sometimes because, occasionally your girlfriends don't realize, and I've got a few friends who are girls. Mostly my friends are guys because you talk about guy things. But the friends I have that are girls, they don't even realize they're doing this sometimes. And it comes from, it's a natural thing. And I totally understand it. So I don't think it's a a personality flaw or an evil, ugly characteristic that they're consciously trying to gossip and to do the whole mean girls thing. But this happens because women are actually extremely hierarchical. Like they're always trying to figure out who fits into the hierarchy where. Where am I as opposed to that one? Because it's competition, right? And you're competing for men, you're competing for status. I mean, everybody always goes, men are competitive with each other, obviously. But there's also a competitive streak in women. And they are like that. It's not a bad thing. I don't judge it as being particularly good or bad. It can be turned into good by creating productive, driven, amazingly successful people in some ways. And it can be turned into bad by people who are obsessed with what others are doing and where they fit in compared to them, and only being bitter and resentful about stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're all natural things that we all have. I think modern life makes our natural traits just fuck out quite a lot. So women will do that kind of stuff. You talk about hierarchies, and a lot of the time they're just meant to try to find mates because it's a reproductive thing. But you take it off the table, and now you're looking for social status. Then you get the bitchiness. Then you get all the other shit coming out because it's like an instinct over trivial shit.
I just want to prove something. So Lee did what I just said at the beginning of the show when Simpiwe did this. I don't compete with anyone. See, she's just listening to the conversation. Lee immediately thought it was about her. She's like, I don't compete with anyone. You should only compete with yourself. Put it on the screen so everyone can see that. There we go. See what I'm telling you?
It's not a good day to be a woman. Damn it.
Always a good day to be a woman. Always a good day to be a woman.
To add to that, to what you're saying, Gareth, I think the truth is a lot of the times women feel like they have to go they have to pick a particular path for life, which is most of the time get married, have kids, right?
Sure.
And there's a bit of a jealousy when you see somebody else who kind of had maybe a similar upbringing to you, who gets to choose a different path. And you like the examples you made, like the one is like you got to choose family over fame. It's like for her, it's like fame, it makes sense. Like, you know, if you're famous, you're well known, it's this and that, but you chose family. I don't understand it. And that's kind of where the bitchiness comes in, because it's like, I don't understand how you could pick that over this. And then the other one's like, well, I picked money over that because it's like, it makes sense for me. And somebody's like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how you're supposed to do it. That's not the path to what a lot of people deem success is for women.
Yeah, I just think, to quote the internet, everyone should just applaud until it's their turn. Stop with this. Stop with this fucking, oh, you've got this shit, or I didn't expect you to have that. Fuck off. Just work hard to be supportive. You'll be amazed how that stuff comes back to you.
We have a term in South Africa for that. Jealous down, right?
Hey, jealous down.
Jealous down.
So
if you want to be unhappy, if you want to spend your whole life being grumpy, sad, disappointed, depressed, miserable, all of those adjectives go together, right? The surefire way to do that is to spend your whole life comparing yourself to everyone. There is such a thing as healthy competition. And this, again, is not a gender thing, because guys and girls are the same in this respect. There are people who set up a goal for themselves, and they may base that goal on someone else's achievement, which is great. And I encourage you to have people who you can look up to, good role models. But if you find yourself pursuing things because of jealousy over others, that is just a path to the dark side of the force, and you're never going to be happy. Like your whole life is just going to be filled with misery, because you're always trying to hold up your version of things to someone else's. And like Simpiwe says, circumstances get in the way, right? It's not always cut and dried. Some people seem to have an easier path, and some people's path just seems to be so much harder. And with fairness, it's down to choices. And you've got to live with those choices, because you can't have it all. You can't have everything. Unfortunately, and this is something that came up in America this week, there are two women who are members of Congress in America. I want to know what you guys think of this. So they both have newborn babies. So Sims, this might remind you of a situation.
Okay.
Now they want to be able to be members of Congress from home. And there's an interesting debate that's come out as a result of this, because there are a couple of people who say, yeah, that's fair, because, this is the time when their infant child is the most vulnerable. They need mom around. And then there are a group of people who say, no, actually, you got to make a choice here. And the choice is yours. You're a strong, independent woman. You can go ahead and make this choice. But if it's too hard to be a mom and to pitch up for work, then you got to choose. Then you got to choose either work and find a babysitter, or like you're doing this morning, for example, Sims, you chose to be at work, so you've got someone to look after your baby. And that's tough. Of course it is. It's hard. It carries a whole lot of really, really hard emotional baggage with it, because all moms, even if you've been there for like the first 3 months in complete concentration, there's going to be a point where you like, I got to get to work because I got to earn some money. And then there are those people who say, well, you got to choose motherhood, which means if you're in a position where you're married or you've got a huge family structure that can help you out, then that's possible for some women, but for some, it just isn't, right? Yes. Choices.
That's very true. So I was listening to this podcast this week, and they basically said you can't have it all at once, right? You can be a great mom, you can have a great career, you can live a really great life, but know that those things are going to happen in different phases of your life. And the reality is that once you become a mom or even become a wife, it changes, and some of the things that you thought you might experience at this particular time might not happen, and that's the reality of it. And you just have to kind of be like, I'm dealing with it or not dealing with it. But also with the Congress ladies, I know in America their healthcare system or setup, whatever, is horrendous. In terms of like maternity leave and stuff, where after giving birth they basically go back to work. So in that regard, I'm like, I think they need to do better. Maybe give moms that have just had kids a bit of time, to recover. Like physically, you need 6 weeks to recover after giving birth, to give them that time. But after that, hey, Sway, it's up to you. It's either you go to work or you stay home with your kid and be a housewife. Finish and klar. That's it.
It's not an easy one to answer. I think also it comes down to what's possible and what isn't, because everything in life is a trade-off. Everything. You can't have everything. And this is not just true in the examples that we're talking about now. It's true in every case. There are people who work 24/7 and they sacrifice being with their family, watching their kids grow up. They sometimes have an affair with a secretary, and like it's a mess. But they have
don't add that part.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is it's all choices, right? So they instead of being loyal to their wife and to their family, they're not thinking about them because they don't see them because they're at the office all the time. So they're having the affair, but they've got all this money. And then people go, oh, it must be so nice to be that person. Meanwhile, the choices they've made are trade-offs. There's no perfect solution here. And that goes for careers. It goes for, pursuing love. It goes for the kind of holidays you go on, the kind of things you spend your money on, the kinds of things you eat, the kind of stuff you do in your spare time. It's all trade-offs. There is no perfect solution. So for anybody who thinks like there's a roadmap and you will tick all the boxes, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Every decision you make carries negative and positive consequences.
Yeah, and also understanding that no matter where you are or what you have in life, you have something to trade. Because time's still important. Like, you can do amazing things if you just put time on it. People are so frustrated and so down on themselves because they are so jealous a lot of the time too. This is all demographics. Is that they forget that they've actually got so much. It's amazing what you can do with 5 years of your life. You can turn around so much stuff. You can learn so much. You can be so much.
Well, one of the questions that's coming up quite a lot on the show these days, Ben, is you're dressing very smartly. We've noticed this on the Bounce show. We've noticed it here on this show.
Oh, thank you.
You're wearing jackets. What's going on here?
Yeah, Gareth, I guess just nothing. I'm 43 years old. be realistic about who I am, what I do, what I look like. That's pretty much it.
So nothing prompted this like change in style.
Not really, guys. To be honest with you,
very swagger.
No, it just kind of ran out of like shit stuff to wear. Maybe I don't know.
That's good. I think it's so good. I had to wear a tuxedo last night, a black tie. Yeah, it feels good to dress up. Listen, the best thing is getting home and taking that shit off, putting on other clothes. But it's nice to do that every now and then. And you do feel, I think that you take yourself a little more seriously if you dress a little more seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You agree, Simpi?
Yes. My saying in life, don't look like your problems.
Yes,
do not look like your problems.
Yes.
Like, show up. Like, you might be going through it. Like, the world might be coming to an end, but I promise you, do not look like your problems. That's step one in you getting over the situation or overcoming the situation, because things pass. Season comes, season goes, but I promise you, do not look like your problems.
Yeah, be the change you want to see in the world.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, imagine.
So here are a couple of compliments. We always do this, and usually it's Sims who's getting the compliments, but today it's Ben on this issue of dressing. Everyone wants success. Nobody's willing to sacrifice to make it happen. 100%, Gareth. Ben looks like a Miami mogul, says Gray. Lee says blue steel. This is Ben's hunting outfit, says Viasen.
What am I
Ben
hunting, Viasen? Can I tell you what? This isn't outdoor clothing.
Girls.
No, this is outdoor shotgun material.
Also, a good point made by Lee here. She says that is the thing about winter. You can dress much more nicely.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, South African climate doesn't lend itself to dressing, in suits and in the ladies' case, like really going to town on dresses and outfits, because we like to dress according to our climate. We like to dress nice and relaxed and casual in summer. It's comfortable, in the heat. Ben needs to do a stand and turn so that we can do an outfit check.
Come on, let's go off, King. Come on, let's see that drip.
Start really
what say? Yeah, let's see the drip.
Do we have cameras for such a thing? We don't really.
You can stand up now. Let's go, King. Give us a bit of a swirl. Yeah. He walked off screen and look at Ben coming back. Look at him. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. All right, you asked for it. You asked for it, audience. Don't let it never be said that on this show you don't get what you want. All right, you demand stuff, and even if it doesn't make sense, there we go. You just did that.
Thank you.
Just do that.
He's such a trooper, Ben.
Sorry, Ben. And do the stupid walk again. I don't know if there we go. That's fantastic.
Now you see him, now you don't. There goes Ben.
All right, guys, it's 7:00. We got to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is the Gareth Cliff Show. Simpiwe, Ben, and I, and lots more to come in the next hour. Don't go anywhere.
Well done. You are here for another episode of the On The Bounce Show, your weekly sporting fix, no matter if you're a smug Liverpool supporter or an in need of a therapist Man United one. In studio this week, Bena Sandile, welcome back the man, the myth, the Greek legend. He is the heavy D to our boys. It is Dimitri Leontakianakis. For this special coming together, this week's Sporting Showcase is all about sport's greatest photos. Those wonderful moments in time captured by mostly unheralded oaks with long lenses who cover the globe to immortalize what makes sport truly unforgettable. This is an episode truly for the ages, so let's get into it.
Freestyle, right? So
you're kissing, you're doing
you're kissing this girl, whatever, you fall into the bed, whatever. And it was like so awkward for the female actors, for the actresses, because
niggas would get hard on.
Yeah, and also niggas take advantage.
Niggas, that's what I'm saying, dog.
You're
kissing this girl.
swallowing her whole face. You know what I mean?
Take one.
It's just,
Getting carried away. You're getting into
you
it.
carried away. Fast forward to today.
Intimacy.
There's intimacy coaches.
Where's the flavor?
So it's literally like there's an intimacy
It's
coach.
freestyle.
It's like a choreographer.
But active.
So now it's like it's literally like where are you comfortable me touching? Can I touch you here? Yes. Can I touch you? Yes. No.
Nice.
I can't touch me there. What's the you usually ask first? Can I step into your space? Yes.
Sure.
You can step into my space.
Yeah.
And there's
Professional.
very professional.
I guess that safeguards everyone.
And also, it's not necessarily Guti, it's a Metaya Mantombazani who are also violated. Because Natis are a snake. You are small.
Come on.
Fine.
Talk your player. Talk your
No, it is what it is. So we need protection. Protect us, please, director.
Please.
Ladies coming too hard for me.
Oh my God.
Good morning. Here we are. We're back and we're ready to go live. The Real Network and the Gareth Cliff Show. Friday morning. We're into the month of April. Exciting stuff happening. Simpiwe and Ben in the studio. I am on location in my house. It's fantastic. Not what I expected to be doing this morning, but there we go. I've actually got to come in for a meeting at 10, and you won't believe how bad the traffic is between 9 and 10. It always used to be like between 6 and 7 is terrible. 7 and 8's bad. In fact, 7 and 8's the worst. 8 and 9 is still quite a lot of traffic, but I had no idea, like 9 to 10. So I basically have to leave at 10 to 9 to get there for a 10 o'clock meeting. Right? It's insane, right?
Yeah, I hate
Especially
traffic.
when it rains, it's the worst.
Yeah, because already people don't know how to drive. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Most of you guys bought your license and you guys don't know how to drive. And then when it's rain, you're like, oh, I'm just going to drive at 50 on the fast lane. Like, and it's just, it's worst. It's the worst of the worst. So I hate driving when it's raining. I hate driving when there's traffic. I just hate it because I have to deal with people who don't know how to drive.
Well, you're still getting all the hate from people who say that they, when you remember when you went off about people in the little cars.
Yeah,
and how
they
drive
pickaninnies thinking that they're driving Porsches here. Yeah, I stand by what I said. I said it with my chest. And I don't care what you guys say. You're driving biscuit tires over there with your smoke, trying to drive at 220s. You're going to break your car. So please, love your car, love yourself, drive at 100 Ks, stick to the slow lane, and leave the big boys to drive on the fast lane. Thank you.
Well, spot on. You went viral. Simpiwe went viral. Yeah. And now she's hated by some people who drive these little skorokoros and these. What did you say?
You're saying skorokoro. I said pikinini. Pikinini is small. Skorokoro is a different. It's a different thing now. It's a different one. So yeah.
So Bitcoin Bot wants to know, when are we getting some politicians in again? Do you really like when I have politicians on the show? Do you? Because I don't like politicians. And I mean, James is shaking his head. And I don't know, Simpiwe and Ben, do you really want to hear from these people, especially after they've just taken more money out of our wallets?
I would like to roast them, that's all. I just think they should have the balls to come in here. We set up like 6 chairs. There's you. We have audience. You can buy a ticket to roast whoever.
Okay.
And make it like medieval, huh? So go right. These are our 5 talking points. VAT, you voted for it. Are you a cunt? And go hard, guys. But go hard off the bat. And they're like, well, I can't get off the studio now.
Yeah, but guys,
this is the only way we do it.
That's not my idea of fun. Plus,
come on, that would be fun.
I'm not Deborah Patter, and there are lots of people who do that.
Come on, Gareth. Slap a bit of self-tone on and get some balls. Let's roast these motherfuckers.
So Mapelo has some advice. Apparently, had a lot of this.
Mapelo, as I believe.
Mapelo has advice. Gareth would rather have very niche guests that very few people are interested in. Can I tell you something? I was talking about this with someone the other day because I think about the show all the time, right? And this person was telling me, I don't know this guy at all. He's not a friend or anyone. We were just talking about the show, and he's like, "Oh, what kind of guests do you really like having?" I asked him, "I don't know. What kind of guests do you think I should have?" He listens to the show, so he said, "I want to hear from people like this guy who was abducted by the Taliban and had to spend 7 years as a prisoner in this. Like he had 9-year-olds, he said, with rifles pointed at this guy's head the whole time, and he had to survive for 9 years with the Taliban in Afghanistan." And I agree with him. Like, I really want to have God bless them. Do I really want to have Helen Ziller and the mayor of Johannesburg and Banyaza Lesufi and Musi Maimane and Herman Mashaba and John Steenhuisen and Gates? Do I really want them? I mean, isn't there enough? Don't you have enough of these people already? Aren't they all over your life, whether you've asked them to be there or not anyway? Pitch up on your feed without your permission. They do. I don't want them in the studio. We're going to try and keep this fun. And I do believe that fun includes harrowing stories and drama and excitement and non-celebrities. I mean, I'm kind of just not interested. There are lots of shows that do celebrity interviews really well, and we've had our time in that spotlight as well. I've had, it's well over 15,000 hours of interviews over the last 11 years, and I don't know that there's anyone in South Africa that's important that I haven't spoken to, with one or two obvious exceptions. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of more interested in hearing the stories that we haven't had on before, and the people we haven't had on before. And those people aren't necessarily well known. So that's what we're going for. Since you asked, Mapelo, but it's not by way of an excuse, that's an explanation.
Look, so I think if you look where content is going in general, I watched a video recently about the demise of the Joe Rogan podcast. This guy had to put a thesis together about why the thing sucks now. Mm-hmm. And I agreed with so much of it. I think Joe Rogan's great. I think he's done so much, but no one can stay at the top forever. And I think what you see now is like the context of an interview is changing. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much about having a person. It's like what you do with the person. What your show then looks like around that. And I think that's the other thing to look at. Just to get some prick in here, just to sit him down and talk for 45 minutes cold. I think a lot of people don't actually do that anymore. I think that's something to also consider. The interview landscape, I think, still produces the best content. I really do. Yes. I love it. Like, this is what I listen to, but it's evolving ever quicker. And I think when you create a format that you love and people really love, you will then find the right guests for that. So we can't say, oh, you must interview politicians. If you get the right format, you can bring anyone in and it'll be fucking great.
True. But I would also say, like, in South Africa, I think people have this misconstrued idea of what podcasting is, and they think if it doesn't fit that mold, then oh no, you're doing it wrong. We oversaturated with people that just kiki, they just talk, they just share their opinions with no facts, they don't do research, they don't try and challenge each other, and so then they expect that of the next person. They also expect everybody to have the same guests. Like, yo guys, South Africa is a very small country. Very, very small. If you've been on one podcast, you've been on all. And I think it's a cool way to like look at it. Like, Gareth, you talking about stories that I'd love to listen to that. Like, it's like, what do you mean you were kidnapped? What happened? Who, where, what? This really happens. And I think this is why, like, there's a podcast on YouTube. It's a South African podcast where this guy was interviewing like criminals. And I was like, I want to hear how you stole 39 billion rand.
By the way, yeah, on that note, James and I are going to be getting a prostitute on soon. Now, that'll be interesting.
Is that for James or for the show?
Well, that's a whole other discussion, because in front of everybody in the office the other day, in fact, in a meeting, we're like going through what's happening on all the shows, and this is what's coming up on the Shady podcast. And by the way, they've had some absolute killer guests recently. Just fantastic. Tall Ass Mo's been awesome. Just some great people. And you've had some terrific guests on the bounce, and the doctors. By the way, Let's Talk Man, which is our show with the doctors. They've got theme shows now. They've had addiction, which is amazing. People with sex addiction, drug addiction, drink addiction, all the addictions, right? And then they're doing a series on like animal attacks, which is so cool. That's coming up next. So you got to watch.
Can I just say that? I mean, Gareth's not mean by laughing. If you knew the various conversations where it got to this point, you understand why he's laughing. There's nothing funny about being attacked by animals, but trust me, the conversations we've had the last 2 weeks, that's why he's laughing.
Well, so in the same meeting, I say to everybody, all right, and by the way, I'm trying to get a hooker for James. So everybody goes, They ask exactly the question, basically. They're not going to say it like Ben just did, but that's what they're thinking. So I go, yeah, and as a bonus, we can get her on the show as well.
I will say, like, when you brought that up, I think of Sene, who is the producer for the Let's Talk Man podcast. And yes, there's a point where she was like, I want somebody who's addicted to sex. So she went to a strip club, to get that content.
Sin is a hell of a producer here.
She literally went to a strip club. She's like, I need to find this person, so I'm going to go. And she went to a strip club.
We need more Senas in this world. She is a force of nature, that woman.
Anything for content, guys. Anything
she's amazing.
for good content. This is what the guys will do this side.
Okay, so Lee says, I think the show has a healthy balance between serious, funny, meaningful, and interesting. And what's cool, by the way, this morning we don't have a guest on the show. And often when it's just Ben and Sims and I on a Friday, we have a whole lot more fun because, it changes the energy. It's like if you're sitting down and you're having lunch with friends and then someone else comes and sits down with you, you have to start again, if you know what I mean. It's like it upsets the vibe a little bit. So, I mean, we've known each other a long time on this show, and obviously there are people who have in the audience been there from day one, which is why we love the comment section. We're the only live internet and podcast show where you can actually join in while the show is happening. The only one I can think of. I don't know that there are any others that do that in that format. You could always obviously listen to the show, as many, many millions of people, I hope, are doing when it comes to recordings, and we know that. But lots of people love being part of the live show because it's interactive. We can hear what you're saying. You can tell us what you're thinking, and we can give you feedback straight away. It's like a proper conversation. Love that. So that's also a unique thing about what we're getting done here. Super Megalol says Zapiro is a raging leftist now. Where does he even publish his cartoons anymore? Because, I mean, online, if so, is it under the banner of a newspaper? How does it work for a cartoonist these days? I really have no idea. We need more homeless people on the show, says.
Correction. It's now a street dweller. Okay, get it right. Street dweller.
Unhoused people.
Who came together to make that official?
What? Oh no, it was the guest. So once again, shout out to Senna. You can watch Let's Talk Man every Monday right here on the Real Network. Make sure to subscribe. She got a street dweller, a famous known street dweller, Bonga Sitole, and he basically shared his story on how he got to the streets and the life that he's had on the streets. So give that episode a watch.
Yeah, very good. And only in South Africa could a homeless person get famous.
I know, right?
I saw the funniest thing yesterday. Someone posted a video of, and the caption was, South Africa can be so random sometimes. And then you see a taxi and a race car, like a Formula One racing car, coming around a corner in Cape Town. I don't know if they were filming something or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, that's very South Africa. It wouldn't make sense to anyone else anywhere in the world. But here, a quantum and a racing car on the road at the same time. It's lovely. Gotta love this place. All right, so Sims, this is right up your street, and I think it will affect Ben with his new sauna hat business.
Ooh.
But the South African Revenue Service plans to withdraw all past concessions that they've granted to traders that no longer align with current regulations, impacting businesses like Shein and Temu, which relied on a simple customs clearance process. This move aims to ensure compliance with the Customs and Excise Act and address concerns from local retailers about unfair competition. The withdrawal may increase costs for, guess who, importers and customers, and affect industries beyond e-commerce, like wine production. So stakeholders have until the 23rd of April to submit feedback. The decision is expected to face resistance from affected businesses. So to me, one of the only reasons that it's worth buying from these sites, and many millions of South Africans do, is because it's cheaper. And it's only cheaper because you think that they have an arrangement with customs and excise. That's why you get the stuff so quickly too. And you still have to pay, but now they want more that they're not entitled to. They're not adding, just remember, the government, SARS, are not adding any value to this equation. They aren't making the product get to you faster. They aren't making the product. They aren't sending it to you. They aren't paying for postage and packaging. They aren't delivering it to your house. They have nothing to add on that side. And on the customer side, it's not like they come to you and say, what would you really like? How can we help you get what you need better? How can we make it cheaper for you? They add no value to this, but now they want to increase the charges. That's just, again, these fucking parasites.
But that's also got to do with just trying to make things competitive to local producers, right? But local producers can never ever compete no matter what. Everyone's like, you can't fight China. You can't. It's like farting against thunder. Like it really is.
Farting and fighting. You have to be careful how you say those.
You're
It is. You got no chance with how they can produce things for the cost. And now you go, okay, well, we'll make their stuff more expensive. So we're still going to buy it because even when you make it more expensive, it's still going to be cheaper. So then just don't make it more expensive.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, I actually for the first time purchased some items on Temu. It was like baby stuff, like books and like print thingy for the fingerprints and stuff like that. The one thing I will have to say is that I just got impatient. I think it took about like a week and a half. I think that was the one thing that was a bit. It was an ick, eh? Like I was like, I'm
still
long.
Waiting. I'm still waiting. It's been a week.
I
made my
so
first
long.
ever because I don't care about those. It's a rabbit hole, right? You go onto that Temu site, it's like shit. It's like everything that's ever been produced is on the site.
Yes,
so,
and then there's discounts and whatnot. So you're getting everything for a really cheap price. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, let's try this out. But the waiting, I think that's what's.
It's been more than a week. I ordered 4 sauna hats. And these how long did it take to get a sauna hat here, China? Eh?
Guys, just calm down. You know, you are you're unbelievable, you two. You're like spoiled children.
Correct.
It
I
used-
expect more.
In the old days of like 4 years ago, 2 years ago even, when you weren't ordering from Shein and Temu, things would take months. If I ordered a book from Amazon
Oh my gosh.
a couple of years ago, it would have taken 2-3 months for it to arrive at my house, because you first of all didn't have the couriers that these companies use. Because trust me, I've bought a bunch of stuff on Temu, right? And I've told you about it. We've spoken about it on the show. They are quick as a flash. Think about how long it takes. They have to get some like child in Guangzhou or wherever to put the thing in a box. They have to package it. They have to get the right address. They have to send it off to you. It has to go from Guangzhou onto some plane or ship and has to get here. You're telling me that you're unimpressed with a week? I think a week and a half is phenomenally quick.
It's long, Gareth.
Gareth, I sat at home for 3 years. I couldn't go out. They must fucking get it to me tomorrow. I've paid my dues here. We locked down for this. I want the magic.
Yeah, like no, a week is long. Like, what do you mean a week? I saw these items, I wanted them. Because they're very quick to take the money. The money's gone immediately, and then and you guys take like over a week to deliver things that are very dear, near to me. You know, I wouldn't have bought those things if they weren't important for me, myself, and I. How dare you take over a week? No. Make it faster. 3 days max. Thank you. Amen.
But is it not a point that they would have that kind of stuff locally here anyway? Is everything in China?
So my Pelo says in the comments here, I use Amazon. They get their products from local suppliers and deliver the next day, even when you order in the afternoon. So
Nazo, service delivery.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is all. Oh, 1 day, 2 days. Thank you. That's it. Not this waiting for a week. No, man. No.
Listen to this. Meg says, I bought 1,000 custom business cards from Temu for 500 Rand with customs charge. That's good value. You see what I'm talking about?
See? And then if you did it and did this like via Postnet, like, I mean, I love Postnet, but it would have cost you 3 million. Like, some things are so expensive.
It would have.
And you just like, oh, I can't. Not in Cyril's economy. Can't do that to myself.
All right, let's talk about what color is the letter A. I'm fascinated.
Yes.
All right, so Sims, help us, because we've had discussions on the show about what color each day of the week is. When you think of someone, what color do you think they are in your mind? You know, in terms of like, do they bring up red or blue or yellow or green or whatever? So are you telling me that the letters all have colors associated with them as well?
Not all the letters. So there was a study done, and before I share more, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys think the color of the letter A is?
Black.
Black. Yeah. Ben said black. Gareth?
I would have said red. James, Flex, what do you guys think? Let's throw everybody into
James
this.
said red. Flexible, what do you say? Red. Okay, so we have 3 people that have said red. Ben, you are...
Flex was doing something else. He just said red because James said red. Like, he could give less of a shit right now about this.
Okay, so the reason why I even posed this question is because there was a study done, and they asked random people what do they think the color of the letter A is, and majority said red. And then they wondered why did a majority
why
of
are you
people
psychopaths saying red? It's the first letter. It's
right. No, but this stems from childhood, right? So if you grew up,
didn't have one of those.
if you grew up with those letter magnet letters, most of the time the letter A was always red. Right. And even with books, when they do the letters of the alphabet, they will use A for apple. Apple is red. And so people have grown up not knowing, like subconsciously, you associate red with the letter A.
Wow.
Fun fact. Now I'm going to ask you.
This is amazing for me.
Yes. Fun fact. They also did it for the letter Z. So what color do you think the letter Z is?
Purple.
Oh, Ben. Purple. Okay, Gareth, what color do you think the letter Z is?
Blue in my mind.
Blue. Okay, both of you guys are wrong. You guys are outliers in this study because majority said black. They associate black with the letter Z.
That's
and
stupid.
It just goes back to what they grew up with and what there's things where Z was for zebra, black and white, black. They associated with that. Fun fact.
So I think it's hilarious that Ben didn't have a childhood, and because we all know he grew up feral, right? And that's why he doesn't see the letter A as red. But Flex and James and I all see it as red.
Yes,
it's like I miss something, and you guys are now making fun of me because this all sounds so stupid to me. And you're like, well, obviously because of this. I'm like, oh, okay. No, I mean, it kind of makes sense as you explain it now.
But you still don't get it. Doesn't
well, of course I don't get it. I've got no muscle memory of it. I've got no. I've just learned it. I can't get it if I've just been told it.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's okay though. But now we know that we all kind of had a similar childhood without really realizing that that childhood had a bit of an impact on how we associate the colors of the letter of the alphabet.
All right. Well, we had, I mean, this is the kind of thing that we love about what Simpiwe brings to the show is how else would we have known that the letter A was red? And we don't even think about it. And then you hear these things and you go, shit, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bit of deep psychology. Awesome. All right. So we talked about Snow White. Apparently it's been an absolute unmitigated disaster at the box office. They've fallen on their faces. This movie is just so shit from beginning to end. And everybody's climbing on and piling on to poor old Rachel Zegler. I mean, I say poor old, but she kind of lit a fire under herself without even knowing because she decided to get all political instead of just shutting up and acting, which is what she's meant to do. You know, we had this whole show about her. Well, it wasn't a whole show about her, but we talked about her extensively on the show, and it was very, very funny, and lots of people got involved. So I don't know if anyone's actually seen the movie, but the latest we've got on that, it's just a flop.
No,
Disney
I haven't been to the movies for a long time, nor do I watch movies. But I listened to an interesting podcast with Chris Williamson, who is the new Joe Rogan. And he had this movie critic guy on, and he had some very interesting things to say around these movies. And that's you keep thinking, why are Disney keep releasing these flops when they don't know the tone of the room anymore? Mm-hmm. But we forget these movies take 3 years to make. So when they put together this woke white bullshit, whatever, and they fucked up all the other ones, it was made at a time where this was kind of trendy, you know, like trying to be political, all this kind of stuff. But now it's come out now and it's landing so flat because the world has changed so much in 2-3 years.
Makes sense.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's such a good point too. Didn't think about that. I'm curious because we're slowly running out of time here, and we're talking so much this morning. Are we going to get to sport? Shall we do a little sport this morning, Ben?
I don't know. I mean, if you guys' hearts aren't in it, I can't force you, huh?
No, let's hear what's going on with our favorite team. Come on now. You need to know what the boys are doing.
What is your favorite team, Superior?
Stanley. Accrington Stanley.
Oh, those guys. Yeah, I've kind of got off them, man. They seem to be so obsessed with non-denominational, everyone's religious festivals. Also, they got hammered last week, guys. They lost 4-1 to Fleetwood.
Okay, now we can stop with sports.
No, they're basically losers, folks. I mean, like, it's. I would love to always champion the underdog or the dark horse, but no, I just don't have the connection with them. They just we gave them so much, and they've returned so little.
But I love the sport that you do for us, Ben, because then I know the weekend is truly coming. You can hear all these things that are happening over the weekend that people get excited about.
It's so exciting. But there's big news in cricket. So obviously IPL is on right now, which I can't. I mean, there's games happening, I'm sure. Kakisa Rabada's come back for personal reasons. He's going through some personal stuff right now.
Okay.
I think it'd be quite a relief to get away from that circus. I think it must be so draining. But the Proteas are going to India in November and December. So, fun fact, Cricket South Africa is in a much better financial position than Rugby South Africa.
Oh.
They have more money. Way more money. Because,
really? Even though they've been losing.
So much more money in the cricket here. So now when they go on these big cash cow tours, they're going to get even more cash. And, cricket also pay the women the same amount of money they pay the men.
Really?
Yeah.
And I can't even name a single female cricketer.
Don't worry, you're not alone.
That wasn't a dramatic pause. It was like, yep. So there's a massive tour happening November, December. Okay, so tours you never know because they get announced quite late.
Okay.
So because the schedules are all over the place, India decides what they want to do. But the
Mm.
Pro Tours are going to India for 2 tests, 3 ODIs, and 5 T20s.
Sorry to interrupt you. What's the female? What's the women's cricket team name? Because we have the Proteas, which is the guys. What's
They also like the Lady Proteas.
Oh.
I don't know, guys. Why you expect me to know everything? We call them the Proteas, and they should have stuck with that. I think everyone is everyone's the Proteas.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
As a woman, you should interject and say, "Well, Ben, so and so are also doing this." But now you come to me with blank canvas.
Hey man, as a woman who's not into sports, I'm going to the guy who knows everything about sports. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, look, it's called a draw. So, look, it's a really big tour, but now these folks are going to India when it is fuck hot, and they're playing these test matches where they're literally going to be sweating through their own arseholes. But another thing is like they finish this tour and they go straight into SA20. So SA20 starts on Boxing Day this year because there's no incoming tours for the Proteas. So action-packed time, very exciting cricket end of the year. But right now, the big sport for this weekend, I've got to say, the F1. So there's been so much drama of late.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's the Japanese Grand Prix this week. So obviously all eyes are on Red Bull because what Red Bull did is they took that young Kiwi guy, Liam, and they literally gave him the arse after 2 races. So Max Verstappen believes that he's been bullied. Leclerc was never going to win, okay? So how these teams work is they design the cars for victory. So Red Bull designed their car to make sure that Max wins. So now Liam is not a good enough driver to be on the same sort of footing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This poor oak is now expected to get a tune out of a car that only Max can drive. Does badly for 2 races. They then hoik him out. They hoik him back into like the Red Bull reserve team. And then they just put Yuki Tsunoda into the main seat. So it is so rough. I mean, you think like everyone talks about Formula 1 being so difficult and so difficult to make it in there. It's poor oak, 2 races. And he said it was an absolute shock. You imagine coming in after like 1 show, we didn't get good races. Like, sorry, you're out. Just gone. But I'm trying here. I'm built and piss off. And that's what happened to this dude. Even Max Verstappen said it's not right. So Red Bull are going to try to get their domestics together. Japanese Grand Prix. Obviously, everyone is chasing McLaren. That'll be this weekend. A big week of football. There was the CAF Champions League. So Sundowns and Pirates both won.
Oh, nice.
And Sundowns even had soccer hooliganism as part of their game.
Oh, that's always exciting.
Yeah, these oaks from Esperance, who I think probably caused the fight because they like a bit of argy-bargy, those guys. First, say what you want about South African football. You know, overseas, you get the away team, you get the home team.
Yeah, boy.
Massive segregation, right? There's walls of security and police people. Yeah, you go to Pirates versus Chiefs, just sitting shoulder to shoulder, opposition. Everyone's having a jaw. Our football fans are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a rogue element, and there's always going to be issues, and there has been disasters. But I don't think our oaks start the fight.
Okay.
I think our guys like to cheer and chant and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it showed because there was an Esperance guy hanging from the side of the Loftus Stadium, and a Sundowns guy went up and saved the oak. If he had fallen as an unathletic man, he might have died. But the Sundowns guy picked him up. So shame on you, Esperance. Shame on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Come here.
Stupid.
Don't know how to behave. That's not how we do things around here. We're a decent country. Not really, but we still have some pride. So those 2 teams, big thing to win on the first leg. So Sundowns now go away to Esperance where they're going to be throwing flares and lighting shit on fire. They're going to be so... Again, Esperance, be better, okay? Be better. Pirates have already gone away. They beat MC Alger.
Okay.
But our Pirates have got a difficult week because their coach just said, thanks, guys, but I'm out. So it's a huge part of the football season right now, okay?
Sure.
The cup competitions are coming to an end. The league is coming to an end. And he's been there for 3 years, and he's not going to extend his contract. He's just, I'm out of here. Jose Riviera. So he's leaving in May. That's super, super short. So now Pirates, for example, play a Saturday against Polokwane. Next week, they're going to go again play in the CAF Champions League against MC Algera. And then next Saturday, Nedbank Cup semis. So I don't know if it's a good decision to tell the players you're leaving now because you want to galvanize them for one last push, or it's like, this is the busiest time of the year. No one needs to hear this. This is really bad timing. Either way.
They call that revenge quitting.
But I mean, they're on good terms. Like, the guy's had a good tenure there. He doesn't hate Irvin Corza, vice versa. But he's just like, nah, cool, I'm done. But it's such a huge part because it's such a huge season for Pirates as well. Anyway, on the Premier League, there is the battle for the top 4. We all know Liverpool's going to win. They're well ahead. We all know the relegation teams are mostly shite. But as you can see on the log that we've put up here, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Brighton. That's pretty much what the race for the top 4 is, because Nottingham Forest, they're holding on here. They're a big week for them. They do play Aston Villa this weekend, which is a big result. If they can get that, I reckon they can be assured of a Champions League
United's
spot.
not even in the top 8. Oh, that's sad.
It's 2025. Man United not been in the top 8 for a long time. A long time. So yeah, it's all about the top 4, okay? Because once you get there, you get Champions League football. It's a big deal. So this weekend we've got Everton versus Arsenal at 1:30. Arsenal are playing Champions League next week. They've got Real Madrid. They've just lost Gabriel from the defense. They've had massive injuries. I know Saka's back. So they go into these games just hoping they don't get injured right now. That's it. So that's Saturday at 1:30. Crystal Palace versus Brighton at 4. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, 6:30. That's a big game Saturday. And yes, Imperial, if you do like Man United, they'll be having the Manchester derby against Man City at 5:30. Yeah, Brentford versus Chelsea, other big game there, and Fulham versus Liverpool. But rugby, it is the cup competitions. So there's the EPCR Cup, there's the Investing Champions Cup. It's all back this week for a double header, this weekend and next weekend. All of our teams were a little bit too shy to stay in the Investing Champions Cup.
Okay.
So they're gone. And basically, we'll pick up with then Leinster probably playing either Toulon or Toulouse in the final. We'll get back to that in a few weeks. But the EPCR Challenge Cup, we're still in that.
Okay.
So the Lions, who have mostly been disappointing this season, they're going off to Edinburgh to play them tonight at 9 o'clock.
Let's go.
Then tomorrow, the Bulls, who will probably think they could win this. They are taking on Bayonnaise, which is not a source. It's a team in France, 1:30. And then the Sharks, they'll be taking on Lyon Sunday away, 6:30.
Sounds like a person.
It's quite difficult to get through these. Like the other French teams, Montpellier, that's pretty simple. Perpignan. In the Champions Cup, there's so many of these guys. There's 6 of them are in the quarterfinals. Let's not get into that. Bordeaux, Berglaise, Toulouse, Toulon, Clermont.
Toulouse is to win.
Castres. Yeah. And then obviously a big week of golf next week. So on the Bounce Show next week, we're doing a Masters show because the Masters is that major that just got so much about it. That'll be next week. Right now, it is pissing with rain. So how the Joburg Ladies Open progresses from here, it'll be anyone's guess. It might be shortened. I don't think it'll be a 72-hole tournament anymore. They're playing out at Modderfontein. So if you like to watch the ladies golf, Modderfontein, Simpiwe, that is where you can be to go support ladies sport this weekend.
Literally the best name for a rained-out golf course, Modderfontein, right? That's perfect. Mudfontein.
Modderfontein, yeah, it's getting belted by the rain. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the sports. UFC's a bit down at the moment. We'll pick that up soon. And like I said, yeah, golf next week is massive. And
but I think you should give a plug to your On the Bounce Best Pictures in Sports show, because that's quite an exciting one.
Yeah, this week was a lot of fun. So we had Dimitri Leontakis come back. He is our 101 guy. And the 3 of us just sat down, me, Sandila, and him, and we had such a great time talking about sports' greatest photos. And some of them have backstories that I didn't even expect. I was researching this week. Like, I thought I knew a lot about something. And on the show, we totally unpack that. So we're going to do various parts of this because we got through 10 photos, and that was already an hour. So we'll probably do parts 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of great history in sport, huh?
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to On the Bounce.
Yeah, I like that show. I really do. I'm so proud of the team. Like Flex, what he does with the editing, the entire team that comes around. It's looking nice. It's looking good.
It really is superb. Yeah, well done to all involved. It's terrific.
Team's really coming together nicely. I do need Santa to track me down some people. She sounds like a winner.
You got to go to a strip club to find the next guest. All right, so we've only got about 15 or so minutes left of the show. We got quite a lot of stuff I still wanted to tell you about, but I thought this is quite fun. I found a picture that I sent to James, which I want you to see this morning. I think it'll make your day. This is Britain's first female bouncer. And she doesn't want, she doesn't want to be called a bouncer though. She wants to be called an ejection technician. She technically ejects. First of all, look at her, right? I wouldn't mess with that woman.
That was exactly the picture I was expecting to see. That was it. that was it.
I love it. I don't love the name. I don't. It's just
I don't.
That chick
but
was sorts.
she looks badass. She looks like
she knows what chips and newspaper looks like.
Hey
that one,
man, she's gonna pull up on you and be like, "What you doing here, mama?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out." You know who she reminds me of? Matilda. You know the movie?
It's a kids thing. You don't ask me about kids stories.
Oh my gosh! So the movie Matilda, the principal, she looks like that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
Ben,
Let's say, hey, Red. Yeah, that woman was born in a bomber jacket. She was literally born in a bomber jacket, and she's had that scar on her face.
I'm gonna you're annoying me now. I'm going to find the principal of Matilda. You need to see that lady. I can't believe you didn't watch that.
I said I believed you.
Yeah, but you need to see it.
Now you saying I annoy you.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
my own trauma.
No, because you need to see it. You need to see, like, people that have watched Matilda will know who I'm talking about. That principal, that's her.
Let me save you some trouble here. You know how I don't remember bad experiences? Like they just get filed in some cabinet right in the depths of my soul, and I never ever go there again. And I don't remember bad things. So I could literally walk up to someone who I'd had an argument with the day before and go, "Hey, how are you? Good to see you again." And they'd be like, "What? Don't you remember yesterday we had this huge fight?" And I'll be like, "Nah, I don't remember that. How are you doing? You good?" Honestly, that's how I am. So Ben is like that with ugly people. He doesn't want... No. Honestly, because I send him like funny stuff on Instagram of like really, really ugly people. And he's like, "Oh, Cliff, stop sending me these fucking ugly oaks."
It's horrendous. You really should stop it. Know your audience. That's not for me. It's depressing. It's fucking depressing. You can psychologically analyze me to the end of days. I don't care. It's depressing looking at those people.
No, you don't find them funny though. I've noticed you don't. Most of us laugh at that.
Not even the slightest. Like you have this morbid fascination with freaks and hobgoblins and fucking genetic anomalies that should have been maybe put somewhere. I don't. I don't ever. My eyes never need to see that ever. You know, after you send me something, I've got to go look at like. I've got to go look at Roman architecture. I've got to go look at expensive cars. I need to like balance my fucking serotonin levels after you've sent me that shit.
Oh my word!
Like Camilla Parker Bowles is where that's it. That's my flaw. There's no, don't send me past Camilla. She is. That's it. That's the cutoff.
All right. Okay. Well,
now
then I'll send those to Simpiwe instead.
Oh no, I don't want to be traumatized.
How bad are you at Google? You've been just Matilda for the last 5 minutes.
No, I found her. I wanted to get the right image. I found her, sent to James. Like, I just need validation on this. Like, anybody who's watched Matilda, that ejection, whatever person, this is who she looks like. Okay, the principal of Matilda.
Before we get to the picture, I just want to know what you think about the fact that there are women bouncers. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. If you think about clubs, obviously guys are the ones who get into stupid fights. But let me tell you, a guy has no use when he's trying to separate two girls who are in a cat fight. I think it would be a very, very useful thing to have a woman like that woman in the picture around to keep the
totally
girls
agree.
alive. Because you know, when guys, you just need brute force with guys. You just have to punch them or throw them out with, you know, pick them up by the scruff of their neck, kick them out if you have to. But with girls, it requires like a little bit more finesse and understanding. And you have to think on your feet in a girl way that a guy couldn't. And I don't think a male bouncer is in any way equipped to deal with girls who are like at each other's throats. And I do think there's a massive gap in the market. I'm not saying that I want to see this woman on every street corner looking after stuff. I don't want to see her when I go out as I do. And, she's at the door. Go, oh, show me your ID or whatever she's going to ask people.
Bouncers already sound like that, Gareth. Come on now.
Look, I don't want to be. I don't want to be the guy that's. I don't want to be the guy that knocks on the door of the East Rand, but I'm pretty sure there's female bouncers there. Have been historically. There's been some rough tannies that have been. Don't tell me that she's the first.
Sims,
we are a pioneering people. Trust me, we've had female bouncers on the East Rand.
I don't think official ones, but I will say this: Gareth, Ben, the bouncers you guys see at clubs, they're really like these rough guys, and they just, like seeing a female version of that. I'm not mad at that because you still need to have that thing where I look at you and I'm scared. I look at some of these bouncers and I'm like, I wouldn't mess with you. I'm gonna smile and be nice. And it's the same thing because I bet you she's not only going to deal with the females, she's also gonna deal with these guys that think they can, do nonsense.
Well, completely, because she'll get a kick out of that because let's be honest, growing up, men hit her. You don't suddenly become like that because you would like race and daisies and puppies. So she'll have no fear as well, which is a great thing.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I think she's a great hire. If I
just don't like the name. Stick to bouncer. Like, in this in this quest of us being feminist and wanting equality, I think in this regard, we need to be treated the same. You want to be a bouncer, that's the name that they've used for years. I feel like that's what you should be using. And don't go with the, I want to be called an ejection, what. No, ma'am. Okay, you want to be treated as equally as the guys are. So you will be called bouncer. Danko.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ultimately, everyone's calling you a bouncer anyway.
Yes.
It's like with retards and stuff. People use that word all the time, okay? I don't know
so now imagine we need to learn a new term.
Ultimately, people always go to the source because that's what they do as humans. Don't come with this wasting our time. And ejection specialist sounds like you're doing colostomy bags and stuff.
Yeah. No, right? It's like
makes you sound worse.
Yeah. But James, do you have the picture? Can I see it? Look. There.
Oh.
I was right.
Shit.
You see, that was the principal on the movie Matilda. It's her. It's her.
Right. That's spot on. Couldn't be more close.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
And you know what she did in the movie? There was a kid. She had like this very decadent chocolate cake. And there was a kid who basically had a slice of the chocolate cake. And then how she decided to discipline him was she got the whole school to come to the school hall and basically had like this a similar chocolate cake, but like it was like triple in size. And then she got the culprit to come and finish that chocolate cake in front of everyone.
Awesome.
And like halfway through, the kid was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get sick," and she's like, "You're gonna finish it."
Okay, yeah. So
great
awesome.
movie to watch, guys. Go watch Matilda. Like,
thanks.
You just reminded me. One of those things that I sent Ben that traumatized him is that
I just don't look at it anymore.
There's this woman in a British pub, and they give her a chocolate cake. And she eats it with her hands, but she tucks it in and she pours water on it and slushes it around.
In fairness, I did comment on that because that was more of a cultural piece of content than a freak piece of content.
Oh, that was great.
I was surprised she didn't finish that. That was my comment. I was surprised how she quit. Someone like that should follow through with that.
What was the name? Like Big Sue or something. What was
something
it?
like that. You know, when you have your name on your shirt, you're doing dodgy shit.
Put some respect on my name.
When you arrive at the pub and you've got like Big Sue or Top Tom, you're putting something in your mouth that you shouldn't, and huge volumes of.
It's a respect thing, I guess. You already know who you're messing with.
Yeah,
it's the Big Tom.
What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything fun coming up, Ben? Sims?
It's pissing with rain, so my golf is again screwed.
Oh, shit.
It's been quite fun last Friday actually with Dimitri, who's on the show this week.
Did you get that haircut, by the way?
No, I'll pick it up as it goes somewhere else. But because it rains all the time now, there's actually like golf simulators. So we went and played golf last Friday as bros in the simulator. It was awesome.
Will you do that again this week?
No, I mean, I'm a purist. But for that day, it was great. We played the Rome Ryder Cup golf course, Marco Simone.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome.
That course up close personal.
That's just it, Gareth. I'm going to see you tomorrow at the Prison Break Market.
Oh, Prison Break is so great.
And there was something else I was going to do that was hugely exciting.
There, hey? Don't drive.
Well, I don't really drink anymore, so.
No, but the parking there is horrendous. The place is great, but parking, no, don't recommend it.
Oh, really?
No, yes. So if you've not been to Prison Break, the place is a draw. Love it to pieces, but the parking was second thought. So if you can Uber there, rather do that, because you could spend easily 30 minutes looking for parking.
But then, like, Marv almost died because of something he caught from an Uber.
Wear a mask, you'll be fine.
That true? No, is that really true? I don't believe Marvin.
Okay, so for people who don't know, Marv works there. He's part of the building. Okay, he's a big deal. Marv went missing for a while. He had a really bad illness. I know I'm saying this unsympathetically, but he said like he might have caught something from an Uber, which then became a really big illness.
Yeah, so let's go back to the times where they didn't allow us to go out, wear a mask, sanitize everything, and you'll be fine.
You really want that Timo delivery to arrive, huh? No. I like driving now.
Oh.
I'm fine. It's clean.
Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Thank you.
Listen, I don't think you can get diseases from just traveling in a car unless you're doing revolting things like licking the seats.
Yes.
Or...
Well, Marv,
which sounds like Marv. It's a very Marv thing to do as well.
Maybe a seat biter or a seat licker. You should quiz him on this and see what his facial expressions are.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything else anybody needs to throw in at this point. Is there anything I've left on the menu that needs to be eaten? No.
Yeah, like and subscribe, huh? And watch all the shows on the Real Network. Like this channel is fucking awesome. I have no problem saying this at any stage. These shows, the effort that goes into the show, the subject matter. Yes. It's a very good place. Come.
Yes.
By the way, we're gonna be. Is our guest on Monday confirmed, James?
Prostitute.
Okay. No, not the prostitute. we're not giving her own show. You're not.
Yeah, I'd imagine prostitutes take Monday off in all ways, just to kind of
because they've been busy on the weekend.
Just to kind of bounce back from the weekend.
I think Monday's a very low business day for them.
Well, there's your first question, James. Show notes. First question.
Give us a graph of like which day as a prostitute's your busiest and which day on average is your least busy. You know. No, so we've got someone on the show on Monday. We're going to announce a new thing that's going to be starting up on the Real Network. So there's plenty of stuff happening, and there will be more added in the next coming weeks. So stick around, and thank you very much for being a part of this morning. We will catch you on Monday, bright and early at 6 a.m. Ciao, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
But I'm asking you, you wake up early in the morning, you get yourself dead. How can you feel? You wake early up in the morning, you get yourself, you are dead. How can you feel?